1, 2, 3, 4. Down to the VHS. VHS. Out of the VHS. It's the 18 of my business. Because I was out of the house and doing stuff. No easy Wi-Fi blemishes. And I guess that's the way it goes. Down to the VHS. VHS. Out of the VHS. Got no money, smoking crack, saving up for the Betamax. Down to the VHS. VHS. Out of the VHS.
Hello.
And welcome to Obscure Tape Time, the show where we watch VHS in their entirety and invite you to suffer along with us.
From start to finish, and the mic's actually working first try.
Oh, first try. Heck yeah. I'm back, Prince. Look, there's my name.
It's there somewhere.
You're not gonna...
Um,
You're so freaking awkward.
Can
And
they
you're
read?
Peter Deer, and that says it there.
it's my channel, dude.
Yo, dudes, how you doing? I've seen you've been going live backing some stuff up lately. I haven't been able to click on it, but hey, what have you been backing up? I want to know what you've been backing up. So every time I ask Pete what he's been doing, he says nothing.
That's
What have you
kind of
been
the
doing?
answer. Yeah, not a lot. No, I'm sort of planning a few things, but
Yeah?
nothing too big or interesting.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been
a
specifically...
potential sort of avenue for us to test our live show when we get it ready and
Hell yeah.
that sort of thing, but nothing concrete to sort of mention right now.
What sort of things? I've been going through home movies lately. I've been
My favorite.
finding all the... It's so long and boring, nothing to watch on
That's
most
the
of them.
point.
Did you get my message after we
I
said we're doing
sure
the show?
did.
Oh, so you've queued that. Perfect. So I've been going through a bunch and trying to find out which bits we can clip out, because for the live show you want to do, you suggested like a home movie clip show thing. Of course, I mean, it has to happen. So I've been finding some interesting bits that maybe you can find. So this clip that I told you to put in, I've cut down from a tape that was about an hour and a half long. It was mostly shots of the countryside and lots
Scenic
of
shot.
shots inside the wherever they were staying. But I've edited it down, and what it is a couple of folks from Wales came
Wales.
down to visit their family in Australia, and they went to one of those wildlife sanctuaries where you could pat all the emus and stuff. The bits I clipped out has an emu pooping. It has a kangaroo masturbating.
Even better.
One of the Welsh people deciding that he needed to pat that kangaroo after he had finished. And then a barbecue where they make fun of eating the kangaroo that they just pat.
No,
So-
that's cute. Shall we watch?
Yeah, let's watch the little cut down.
Kangaroos are great.
Yeah, pull on it. Ah, poop.
Yay! Hi, Poots. No audio.
Is that recording now?
Have you pressed it once?
Yeah.
Let's rewind that, and I'll see if I think what I did was changed a setting that I now need to know that.
Maybe it
Oh,
was
there is
just...
audio?
Oh, it was just quiet. Play again anyway.
Okay. Hey, Ape Sentai, what's up?
Yeah, so watch out for the emu poop, even though the kangaroo is pulling on the very stylish tracksuit.
Poop! We got to see the poop twice. That was
Yeah.
worth it.
Worth it from the trip from Wales.
Is that recording
Having
now?
a good
Have you
scratch.
pressed it once?
Yeah.
No, press it once.
Feels good, bro.
Oh, too
Oh,
late.
you stop every
I don't
time
know
you
whether I
miss
got it or
it.
not.
Oh, he's all
Oh,
done.
you got it. Yeah, you got it. It's still running.
I don't know. I think it's with the funny. What do you mean without the funny voiceovers?
I'd give him
Oh, I'll just give him a scratch right here after he's done his work. That's how it sounded, right?
They're
He's
domesticated.
just
Boing,
leaving.
boing, boing.
Yeah, I like it when cooking and I do it like that.
Kangaroo meat, tell them when you get home. Got it?
Yeah.
Hurry up, it's dripping.
I got it.
So yeah, they were the most interesting bits out of that particular home movie. So I'm going to be working through cutting out more and more. We actually have one to watch at the end of this episode. I'll explain why. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, I mean, not specifically today, but like Friday, if you really want to know. But that means I'm an Aquarius. And I brought the Aquarius video along because I teased it.
This promises to be very riveting.
I'll talk about it in a sec. But at the end of the episode, we're going to be watching a home movie called... Is that Dino or Dino's home movie birthday? Okay, it says Dino's birthday with the SIA or CIA. I can tell you for sure that it is not with any kind of military thing, and it is Dino, even though it's spelled Dino.
Yeah.
I think even actually after a weird coincidence, he is named after the Flintstones dog, so it is a Dino, but it's a dog's birthday home movie.
Yay!
It goes for 16 minutes, so we'll watch that at the end.
I like that.
And I got some more things to say about it afterwards that we got to watch out for while we watch it. But this, the Aquarius video, was brought out by Derek and Julia Parker. Julia Parker is like one of the most decorated astrologists in the world. Like, she's the leader of the astrologists union of the UK
boy.
that does charities and has like so many certificates in this falsehood of
Certificate.
bull crap. She's written over 50 books on astrology, and she now resides in Sydney, Australia. But this video is just two people on a couch talking about horoscopes.
Of all the
Okay,
places-
so before we press play on it, actually, I almost forgot. I found this in a box about a few months ago. And this one's the Aquarius one. And I got excited thinking maybe there'll be a set. I found a second one. And there was only two in the box. And the second one is Aries. And can you guess why that's funny?
No. I know nothing about any of this crap.
That's okay. Aquarius is my sign.
Mm.
Aries is my wife's.
Oh, it was meant to be.
Ooh, it's spooky. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Maybe there is some legitimacy to this.
There's not, but
No, maybe there is.
doo-doo-doo-doo. Play it.
Play!
We'll learn all about it.
Oh, I can't wait. I did test this out, so the sound on this should be fun.
Why are you putting your head down all weird? I'll change legs. Hold on.
Because he wants to be
Over
close to
here.
both of us at the same time.
Change legs, and then you've got to pillow. There you go. I like how you're just off camera, so I look like I'm nuts.
Yeah, it's all
I
right.
am a little nuts.
I mean, we sit down and we watch these VHS tapes that nobody else would ever watch.
Now
Coming
I've
out.
got two puppies. Oh boy.
Oh man.
We know the Castle Vision.
Yeah, we've seen that before. Chester. That's enough, bud. That's enough, puppet.
Okay, so I did my spiel and I wasn't paying attention to the chat, so I'm gonna have to look now. Did I have cake? No, not yet. My wife's making me banana pancakes though. And also, I'm holding the fluffy puppy. I might have some cake on the Friday when it is my birthday.
Sun, signs, and lifestyles.
Wait. So there's lifestyles as well as the signs? Are they things we get to pick?
I think maybe. Is this a bit loud?
What?
I'm asking the people if it's too loud.
Friendly,
Unpredictable,
progressive,
perverse,
faithful,
tactless,
idealistic.
Perverse.
and almost going out of the way to be unconventional.
That's Aquarius.
That's Aquarius. Apparently. Sure, it can
Well,
be
it's
applied.
definitely not a scam.
No?
Not at all.
Good.
A few years ago, most people thought that astrology began and ended with the stars columns in the newspapers.
And by the way, astrology has nothing to do with the stars.
But nowadays, most people know it's more complicated than that. A real horoscope shows the position of the sun, moon,
Horoscope?
and 8 planets as they were in the sky at the moment of your birth, and as they would be seen from the place where you were born.
So your own horoscope is yours, and only yours. To have the same birth chart, and that's what astrologers call it, as you, someone else would have to have been born in the same hospital within, say, a couple of minutes.
It's a birth chart like that which astrologers work with when they're advising their individual clients.
They've jumped into it
Sun
real
sign
quick.
astrology is something else.
I don't even know why
Much
Mercury
simpler,
would be
still
in
rather
retrograde at the moment.
You already know something about sun sign astrology because it's based on the time of year you were born and the sign of the zodiac the sun was in at that time. So you've probably always known you were an Aquarian just because you were born between January the 20th and February the 19th.
Or thereabouts. The sun doesn't change signs at the same time every year, or even on the same day.
Oh no?
So if your birthday is January the 20th, you might just be a
So I could
Capricorn.
be
Well, if
a
your
Taurus
birthday's
because there
February
was
the
a
19th,
sunspot
there's a chance
that
you
day?
could be a Piscean. I'm afraid we can't answer the question for you.
Oh.
But if you were born on one of those dates and feel you're more like a Capricorn or a Piscean than an Aquarian, it would be worth your asking an astrologer to check up with her astronomical tables and find out just
Or you
where
could
the
just
sun was
identify
at
as
the
whatever
moment.
sign you like,
By
right?
the way, we ought to explode
These
one
days,
old myth,
of
the
course.
business of being born on the cusp. It's surprising just how many people think that because they were born at the beginning or end of a sun sign period, they have the characteristics of two signs. They're some sort of a mixture of Capricorn and Aquarius or
Mixture.
Aquarius and Pisces.
Well, you see, it's just not true.
I like
You're
how
not
they're
just
talking
an
like it's
Aquarius.
really important
Yes,
that
the
you
sun
should
was in
know.
that sign when you were born, but in your full birth chart, the moon and all the other planets will also appear in the signs they occupied at your birth.
To say nothing of the all-important rising sign.
That's the sign of the zodiac which was rising over the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. And astrology tells us that all these factors have contributed something to building up your individual personality.
I like the
Now,
glockenspiel.
of the 8 planets, 2, Mercury and Venus, are always near the Sun when we look at them from the Earth, and one or
think I'm
both
gonna
of
fall
them may
asleep
be
watching
in
this.
Capricorn or Pisces at the time of your birth.
If Venus was
We
in
should have double
Capricorn
featured it with
Like
the
a-
Magic Eye
your
video.
like a
character as
cult.
a lover will have certain Capricornian traits.
I feel like they're trying to
If
recruit me
Mercury
into
was in
something.
Pisces,
They are.
Your
Pay
thinking
attention.
processes will work in a rather Piscean manner. That's why those
You'll never
traits
know
will
if you
appear
never
in your
try.
character.
Freddie
You can
Mercury?
forget all about being born
He's in
on the
retrograde.
cusp. It's an
Oh, okay.
astrological
Because
old
he's
wives' tale.
Now,
Degrading.
it may seem odd to suggest that you can divide the whole of mankind into
Hold
12
on.
sections and find any similarity between them. But wait a minute, we're already divided into only 2 categories, men and women, and nobody would deny there are certain differences between the sexes. Psychology already divides us into
Obey.
introverts and extroverts, and we can usually recognize which of those 2 categories we fall into.
And if you've glanced at the list of your sun sign characteristics, you've probably already noticed that a good few of them do match up. After you've watched this tape through, you'll probably recognize a good few more.
But I think we should issue a warning here.
How
Nobody
much of
should
this
make
tape do you think
major
is exactly the
decisions on
same
basis of their
footage?
sun sign alone.
It's possible a
If you
lot.
want help from an astrologer, he or she will need to work on your whole birth chart.
And you certainly shouldn't expect to have
Those
all the
couches look
characteristics
right
you'll
comfy,
find
though.
listed in sun sign books as being typical of Aquarius. but you'll certainly have a good few, whether you care to admit
Oh, you
it
see.
or not.
But I imagine that
All
would be the
it's
same with every
fascinating
single
to
one,
know
though.
just how much you can discover about yourself and your motives from your
I don't think that is
And
Reeves.
how helpful it can be in things like love and
For
partnership,
one thing, he's not in a
health
wheelchair.
and exercise,
choosing a holiday,
coping with your children.
or even just choosing presents for
It's
other
his
people.
brother.
So settle down and prepare to hear all the things you
Mediocre
want
man.
to know about
His name is
Aquarians.
Derek
And haven't been afraid to ask.
Parker. So more likely he's related to Spider-Man.
He's the missing link between the two.
Listen to that music to typical Aquarius. Dun dun
Remember
dun.
Frederick
Dun.
Reagan?
Shut up.
Well, of course you do. And I'll bet the picture you have of him, however much you may have disagreed with his politics, is of a friendly, sympathetic man, always ready to listen to other people's troubles, idealistic, loyal to his country, and devoted to the cause of America as he saw it. And yet, when you come down to it, though he was always quick to act on an individual basis, his actions were quite often rather perverse and contrary. He seemed more than a little eccentric, and actually not very easy to get.
Welcome back, Jana. Long time no see.
However warm and
They're currently
approachable
trying to
Aquarian
convince
may
us
seem
that,
to be, there often is a feeling of distance, which it's
You know what, I don't
difficult
even
to set
know.
aside.
We're talking
Aquarians
about
are always ready to
horoscopes.
help
We're
others.
watching a video
They
that's
also seem
specific to
unwilling get
Aquarians,
personally involved,
but it's like
and
an
it's difficult to
instructional
get
on
very
how to
close
be a proper
One
Aquarian or
reason for
something.
this is that personal
And they're
freedom
showing us
independence is
What
enormously
you need to
important
do
them.
is you need to be a
Perhaps
big
their
fish
main
tank.
preoccupation
You need to be
in life,
fish in there,
and they're reluctant to
and
give it
like
up
maybe
even a sliver
some
of it,
like
and
a
that
starfish
leads
can
to
go
more
in there
intimate
too.
relationships.
Do you
Maybe
think
some
Jason
snails.
Momoa is an Aquarian?
Those of us who may
Has
be
to
more
be, right?
conventional find them
I saw the
slightly
movie all
tricky
about
at
it.
a personal
Yeah.
level.
But he
They're
left the
unpredictable and
ocean,
can be
didn't
very
he? So
quirky
maybe
with
he
an
like
unusual
Maybe
sense of
Mercury
humour.
was in
And
maybe
retrograde
he's
then.
changed.
This
Maybe
sort of
he's changed
Aquarians
into something
represented by
else.
W.C. Fields, who you remember
was on
when
the
asked
cusp.
how he liked children, replied, boiled.
They very often tend to involve
what?
themselves with causes
Boiled.
that don't necessarily seem very
Was that a
important
joke
to us,
or?
and sometimes
Maybe.
indeed may seem positively undesirable. A lot of Aquarians tend to be pacifists, for instance. CND has a large proportion of them. Our disapproval won't worry them
CND?
at all.
I have
They're
no
used
idea
to
what the
it
fuck she's
because
talking
they're
about.
So often
Apparently
out on a
Aquarians
limb
are
one way or
pacifists.
another. Yoko Ono
I'll
is, I
tell
suppose,
her.
one good example of this kind of Aquarian. Shah Shah Gabor another.
The Aquarian original streak, if it runs wild, can produce an extreme sort of Aquarian who really seems to work hard to be...
He matched his tie with the star
eccentric
sign, didn't he?
original. Then you get someone who may be
Harness
so
your inner folly
absent-minded
of the
it
President of
doesn't
the
seem
United States. That's
possible.
right.
A cranky, eccentric character who doesn't seem to know which way is up.
And can Aquarians be stubborn? Well, think of
Yes.
President Reagan
So
again,
can a lot of
and his
people.
Need to
confrontations
boil
with
it,
Congress,
disinfect them.
and
That's
James
right.
Dean and his battles with the studio bosses. They're not easily persuaded that they could be wrong, and once fixed, their opinions take a lot of changing.
Many other people find this mixture of outward friendliness, inward distance, and the utter conviction that they're right very difficult to take. And the result is that Aquarians, and not always because they want to, tend to find themselves loners. People learn to keep their distance, and in the end, I don't think Aquarians mind. Kipling's cat that walked by himself was certainly an Aquarian.
And so were the three monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no
Well, that's what I was saying,
evil.
Jane.
Your
And you just got to get a
indifference
bunch
to
of
what other
fish.
people may say or think is entirely natural.
Fish
to you,
cakes.
Not just because of that streak of
I really
perversity,
know you're
but
an
because you
aquarium if
genuinely
there's lots
don't
of fish
care.
inside you.
In fact,
Yeah.
you won't
Yeah.
give the matter a second thought. One
If
of
you
the
go
results
to
of
like
this is that you're
a
often
pet store
thought to
and
be
you see a bunch of
remarkably
fishes in their
tolerant
tank and you just want to
broad-minded.
eat them,
I don't
you're
think
probably
you are
an aquarium.
necessarily. It's just that you aren't much bothered about what other people think and say. Let them get on
because
with
he
it.
eats lots of
But
fish.
this doesn't mean that you've got the sort of woolly mind which is permanently
Or
out
did
of
eat
focus.
lots of fish. I
The
think
very
he's dead
opposite is
now.
true. Your mind tends to be extremely analytical. In fact, it can often be scientific in bent. But its originality and inventiveness can be dampened by one tendency.
And that
As
is
have
not
I.
to be affected
I'm not an
by
Aquarian.
change.
I was born on the
The
cusp.
brilliant Aquarian scientist who wins the Nobel Prize at the age of 24
No, I
may
wasn't.
not still be
Dead for
contributing
20
to
years.
the development of science.
Rest in
when he's
piss, I
about 80.
suppose.
The chances are, sadly, that he won't have kept up with modern developments.
No, I hate them
You can
always.
get terribly stuck in your
Stupid
ways and be
fish.
unwilling to change, to move with the times.
And as usual, most of these general character traits can affect your private life.
Well, that's definitely not
your
true, 'cause
attitude
you're more with
to
the times
love
than I
and
am.
partnership.
Mm. We'll explain that away when we watch your star sign Hey,
You know, like, I realized that I was like no longer aware of anything as far as like modern pop culture and stuff goes when the big
The
fat quiz
typical
started to be
aquarium
confusing
seems to
rather
me
than
to be a
interesting.
sort of film star figure.
I got a lot of
You'll
the
often
questions
have
right.
a
I got
glowing
Booyah.
fur which
none
is
of them.
enormously attractive. But the moment we try to get near to
I do
you,
try
a
to
sort
keep
of
up with the
touch me not
news.
curtain
I
comes
just,
down.
it's too
In a
depressing.
funny
And we're
way.
shown in no
Only the
uncertain
comedy
terms
ones.
that we're
It's all
Good.
expected
too
to keep our
depressing for
distance.
me.
There's no doubt about it. Many aquariums are at their best living alone.
But that doesn't mean that
But
they're
they
not
get lots of
successful.
visitors.
In fact, when an Aquarian falls in love, the job is very thoroughly done. There'll be no half measures.
And these
and the
days they
affair should
charge
be
$60
exciting and
goddamn
fulfilling.
dollars or
It may
something
be
to
the
enter.
case that your partner will in some way be as unusual and
Expensive.
different as you. Many aquariums seem
but
to
at least you
live
get to
out
see the
of the ordinary
penguins.
relationship,
Yeah.
perhaps even with
We
someone
had
of a
that
different
giant
ethnic
penguin.
group.
Did you see that
You
in the
see,
news?
there is indeed
No.
an element
There was a
of the
baby penguin
unusual
born,
and
all
original
fluffy. You
in
know how
this
they're
sphere of
brown and
life.
fluffy before
Yeah.
they...
Do remember
Yeah.
that you may
It was
have
bigger
to
than
teach
every other
yourself to
penguin.
show
Oh,
those
really?
emotions
Yeah, that's
rather
moving.
more
Aw.
readily than you may feel
Fluffy
inclined to.
penguin.
Once you've told someone you love them, you may tend to think that that's quite enough. But it's not always the case. Some zodiac types in particular need a lot more reassurance than that, and you really should be prepared to give it.
Then
On the
list
other
them,
hand, there's
asshole.
certainly such a creature as the romantic aquarium. And if you're one of those, your demonstrations of affection will be really
Imagine getting
memorable.
to this age
One
and
warning,
going through your
if you are
entire
that
life
type,
believing
keep
that
at least one
body
foot on the
types and
ground.
personality
Don't let
types
romance
rely on the
find your way
movement of
into
celestial
unreality.
bodies.
Well, they've probably
One
made a
of the
lot of
very
money
worst
off of it, so
things
whether they
about
actually
sun
believe it or
sign
not doesn't really
astrology is
matter
when
because
bad
they're
astrologers
thriving on
put
it.
the
Yeah,
idea
But if
about,
you're like a
say,
person
Aquarius
who is
going
just
to go
like
Capricorn.
poor and
Every
shit,
sign can have a marvelous relationship with every other sign, and an astrologer advising anyone on a partnership would look at their complete chart.
And the answer is
all the
always
planets in all
no.
the signs, and even then wouldn't
I
say,
don't
oh no, I
like
know I
you.
can't marry him or her. The very most
We're
you can do is
married.
to point out where a couple's likely to be best suited.
I've read all the
and where there may be
comics from the
difficulties.
boomers.
The most
Yeah.
I would say
We're
is that
supposed
there's
to
perhaps a
hate
slightly
each other.
higher
Yeah,
chance of
like
an
take
immediate
my wife
spark
for
fly
instance. No,
when you
really,
meet someone
take
of the
my
same
wife.
element as yourself. The astrological signs have been divided over many centuries into 4 groups: fire, earth, air,
Come
and
on,
water.
don't make me
Your
tell you I
sign
love
will
you
fall
live on
into one
air.
of
It's
those
stupid.
categories. Fire signs are Aries,
I love you,
Leo,
Sam, don't
and
worry.
Sagittarius.
That's alright.
Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
Air signs are your own Aquarius, with Gemini and Libra.
And
Air
water signs
sign?
are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces.
Cancer!
Cancer.
Fire signs tend to encourage people
Cancer's
to
the
be
terriblest
enthusiastic.
one, but has the
Earth
coolest
signs
logo.
Speak practical, solid people. Air signs to be rather intellectual and thoughtful. And water signs to be emotional and intuitive.
So someone else whose sign shares your element, a Geminian or a Libran, may well seem very easy to get on with, but that's as far as it goes, and it doesn't go very far.
However, let's turn our attention
So if
to
your
a brief
partner is
summary
of one of
how
those,
you may
divorce
interact
now!
with other sun signs.
Done.
You should enjoy a free and easy relationship with
Hey,
an
look!
Aquarian, though you can
That's
expect them to
us.
be more passionate than you.
Taurus is passionate too. though
Talk
slower
about the
to
Taurus,
arouse.
talk about the
You
bully
may
boo
have a bit
boo.
of trouble coming to terms
Mess
with
man,
your
what's
possessive
up?
streak, which will clash with your need for independence.
Your mind works in much the same way as a Geminian's, so you should get on very well together. When you want to turn
Geminians.
friendship into passion, there may be some difficulties. Anyway, will there be time with so much to talk about?
Yeah.
Cancerians
I actually
tend to be
did have an
very
interaction with
clingy
the
and
Zodiac
aware
people. Have I
won't
told you
care
about
for
this?
that. It'll be difficult to
don't think so.
convince them
I was
that
at
the
a pub
affair is
once
ended,
getting drinks,
even if you both
and I
know
got
it
hit
has,
on at
so
the bar by a
perhaps little
lady,
caution
and
is
she went,
Sunny Leo
I bet
should
you I
have no
can guess
difficulty
your
in
star
warmer
sign.
or perhaps
Huh.
slightly chilly
I'm like,
months,
alright
and
then.
you should have plenty of
And she
confidence.
goes,
The goals
something like
aren't usually
Aries or
particularly
Taurus, I
emotional
don't
or
know.
passionate.
Something
If
wrong,
you're one of
and then
those
something wrong
particular
again.
Aquarians,
And
it's
she goes,
difficult
okay,
to
what
see
are you? I'm
where
like,
the
no,
affair
no,
can go.
you can run this
If,
out
on the other hand,
to its
you happen
end.
to be a
Guess,
romantic
please.
Aquarian,
And she
the
guessed
affair
something
with a
else
Libra
wrong,
will be just
and then
as
she
good.
guessed Aquarius.
Except
And
that
she's
you
like,
both spend
aha,
so
I
much
thought
time
so.
with clouds,
Like, you
difficult
did
to
not.
face everyday
You
life.
thought so after you thought a
Scorpions
bunch of
bear
other
emotions,
things.
And asked for the answer.
passion and jealousy. None of these things are
You did have
especially
that
typical
thought.
of
She was
But it
like,
wasn't
see,
your
I knew it!
first.
I knew it! I was right the whole time!
Sagittarians have a freedom
Anyway,
streak very similar to
got a
your own,
number.
So in a way, you're both made for the enjoyable, casual affair.
Nice.
They may be more passionate than you. But after all,
I didn't.
that's
I
one
took
of
my
your
drinks and
children.
walked off.
Capricorn is ruled by the
You
planet
could have at least given her a
Saturn.
business
And
card.
so
I
is
should have
all
been
the
nicer
discovery
to her,
of
but I
Uranus
was
with Aquarius.
distracted.
So there's a tie there.
Also,
And you
like
should be able
that's
to
just a
enjoy
weird
that
way to
flow.
approach people.
You and
It
another
is.
Aquarian may be a little slow to stoke up the fires of passion, but romance itself should flourish.
It's all
and you'll
wet.
certainly have your moments.
And a Piscean should be able to melt your heart.
Pisces.
They're often very
Pisces.
different, and you'll like that.
Remember, too, that these have been just little off-the-cuff
Damn puppy.
cartoons of
You
how
got a
you may
whole
react
coat
to
there on
people
your
with other
crotch.
sun signs.
Yeah, I got a
Never
whole
steer
little.
clear of
Your little
relationship
foxy is
just because someone's
breeding.
sun sign doesn't
Yeah.
seem
You've been
ideal
feeding
to
him
match
after
your
midnight
own.
or something.
There
Something
may be all
like that.
sorts of other astrological reasons why you'll get on splendidly together.
Now, just
It's
a
a lot,
word or
puppy.
two about Aquarius in long-term relationships. As we said, there
Long-term?
may be difficulties here, and from the start, you'll have to realize that a sacrifice is involved. You'll have to give up
We were
some of your
talking, I
independence
think just
and
yesterday
probably
morning,
of an
or maybe
individual
today, I don't know,
lifestyle, which may be very dear to
that
you.
If
give
you
it like a
realise
3 or
this
4
and
more
make
years,
allowance for
and
it,
I've
they'll
been with
certainly
my
be
wife
rocks
longer than
ahead.
she was with her
For
parents.
however understanding your partner is, you must go some way to meet them.
How good is
you
that?
can't expect them to bend
That's
absolutely
impressive.
to your
Yeah.
will, any more than you can expect them to resign themselves to never actually getting near you emotionally.
Another problem, your whole way of life may have been geared to keeping other people at a distance. Well, that's not necessarily a recipe for a happy partnership. You'll have to learn to open the door and leave it ajar.
Apart from anything else, the
Leave a
essence
jar?
of a successful partnership is communication.
Like one
And
man, one
shouting through
jar.
a closed
Yeah,
door isn't a specially
smash.
easy way of opening out your
Crackle
feelings to other
and
people.
pop.
Of
Oh,
course, it's not as bad as that for many Aquarians, but the problem may certainly arise, and you should be aware of it. Remember also that while you must give way to some extent, your partner should be prepared to do so too.
this tape's only
You
gone
must be
11
allowed
minutes
a
so far.
certain amount of independence.
If
17.
you have a job
Oh,
which is
that's all
really
right then.
satisfying and
I was
which
gonna say,
engages
there's no
you,
way that's
then
true.
this can be
The
a
boss
great
job,
help
welcome.
because it gives
How's
you an
things?
element of rewarding freedom away from your partner. Not that you want to keep them out. but
Hopefully
you're
things
a very
are
private person, and you
looking
must be
up
allowed to
in
keep some areas of your
French
life
Canada
more or less
land.
to yourself.
If and when you get it right, you can enjoy
it's been a bit rough
wonderful
lately.
partnership. Your natural kindness and consideration, your readiness to help other people and to recognize their ambitions and objectives in life are spectacularly heartwarming. If you can remember to add a touch of romance and glamour, then things can be pretty well ideal.
And now for another quick gallop through the signs, this time with an eye on long-term relationships with Aquarius.
I think my sign
Aries
might be
enjoys
French Canadian
working
because I
for
seem to get
mutual
along with French
ambitions,
Canadians
looking
really
forward
well.
to the future,
Doesn't
and
mean
should
that
warm what
that's
may be
your
a
sign
slightly
though. It
chilly
just means that your
personality.
sign's
Taurus
compatible
may
with
seem a
that
great
sign.
deal
Yeah,
more
maybe French
conventional than
Canadians
you,
are
and that
compatible
may
with
be
French
true.
Canadians.
You'll find
Oh.
it difficult to alter them, so
Oh,
you may
you
have
can
to learn to live
identify
with
with one, and I
Friendship
won't
is
mind.
one of the most important elements of a marriage, and there should be no difficulty here. Remember, Gemini
I didn't
may be
hear what
somewhat
it said about
flirtatious.
Cancerian
How
clinging
long the
may worry you,
relationship-
and there may
oh.
be difficulties over children if you have them.
I'll
You'll want
watch
to
it
teach
again.
them to be
Pay
independent.
attention.
Cancer will want them tied to the apron strings. Discuss.
Leo can be a
Discuss.
little pompous and overbearing, but your unconventionality should rub off on them, and there's no reason why you shouldn't get on splendidly.
You
Is it
almost
Napostrov?
certainly won't
Do you
see
watch
eye to eye
Napostrov?
with a
You
Goan
should.
on almost
Yeah,
anything,
retro gaming.
But they'll try very hard to make the partnership work, and if you can bring sufficient warmth into it, all should be well.
Librans are pretty easygoing people on the whole, so your
Libra,
unconventionality
Libra,
should be
Libra,
fine.
Libra, Libra.
You may have to take major decisions, for Libra likes to procrastinate.
Any relationship with a Scorpio will be pretty lively, if not rather taxing. You're very different
Taxing,
characters.
huh?
Scorpio passionate and intense, you rather cool and laid back. Scorpio extremely conventional, you the opposite. Shouldn't be many dull moments.
Sagittarius is almost as free a spirit as Aquarius, and you should understand each other very well indeed. Sagittarius can
Indeed.
certainly be more emotional than you, but this may reach out to your romantic side and warm the whole partnership into a pleasant glow.
I can't say I see a marriage between
we'll get along
Aquarius and
fine then.
Capricorn as setting the world on fire. You can
For a
both be
long-term
pretty
relationship, that
customary.
is.
But once you come to terms with that,
They
and
said that we
Capricorn's
shouldn't have
sense of humour
kids.
should help, there'll be a pretty firm foundation on which to
Good.
build a family life.
You and another
Like,
Aquarius,
is that an
given a
individually
balance
separate
which
thing
should
as well, or
result
just
from your
together?
full
Just
birth
together,
date
Oh,
I
that's
think.
alright
Yeah.
then.
different. Life should be very
Well, that's a
satisfying.
relief.
You inspire each other, egg each other on, and your realistic and imaginative attitude should be very fulfilling.
You're all mind, Pisces all emotion and intuition. If you can manage to combine your
Pisces.
personalities, the partnership should be very formidable, and you should be perfectly happy.
Perfectly happy.
What a bunch of nonsense.
Friendship. Here we go. This is going to be the real thing. This is how we learn
Isn't
who
it
you're
just
compatible with.
all
That's what
Aquarians are
gets
just
through to an Aquarian,
not great
and
at
may
being
certainly
friends with
take a
anyone
while
because
to
they barely
persuade them to
talk?
drop their defences. A friendship will be for life. You're faithful friends, and even if we don't see you for ages, a couple of minutes will be enough to put things back on the old footing. One
I
of your
feel
most
like that's a
valuable and
neurodivergency,
endearing
not a
traits is that
star
you're ready
sign.
at the drop of a hat to help any friend who's in trouble, and you're very good at doing so, and in just the right way. Without
You know, a
being
lot of the things they
patronising
talk
and
about on
without
these things are
expecting
more
anything in return.
neurodivergent than actual star signs, and
Helping
maybe
someone
only
who's in need
neurodivergents
doesn't
want to
seem
watch this
abusive to you.
anyway.
It's
Well,
just
because it
something
applies
that's
to them.
inevitable and
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones more likely to watch this
It's
stuff and be
very
like,
modern
yeah.
to
I
be a
feel
private
different.
person, but
They're
that's
the ones
something
they're
which is very much
exploiting.
connected with your
Stop
private
exploiting
life.
neurodivergent
Your public
people's
life's
spooky
concern, on the
magic.
contrary, you're extremely
Yeah.
gregarious. You usually have a
Jerks.
multitude of friends and acquaintances and get on well with all of them. Though you may be quick to back off if anyone shows signs of wanting to be more intimate than you're prepared to allow them to be. It may be as well to try not to be too much of a gadfly. Your well-known eccentricity and unpredictability is amusing, but can
Oh, I'm
sometimes
so
be
eccentric.
irritating.
You don't know what
And
I'm
it's
going
worth
to do
keeping
next.
a weather eye open for any signs of impatience or, worse, boredom, and trying to behave a little more like everyone else just for a while. Yes, it'll bore the pants off you, but it may sometimes be
I know
necessary
how
all the same.
frustrating that
Just as we've said about possible lovers, of
that
course, you can have a
perception
good
can be.
friend of any
Just
sun
because,
sign.
like, I remember we
You're
would go to
not
these
the
parties and I would
independent
get really
shared
drunk
by
and,
an
like,
Aryan, so you may
do
find
silly
yourself going
things
off
and
in
people would
opposite
laugh and we'd have a good
directions
time.
time.
And then I'd see them
But you
again, they'd be
enjoy
like,
the lesson
ah,
really
that
much.
guy, woo!
You're
And I'm
going to
like,
do the thing. It's like,
I'm
no, I
like,
want to sit quietly today.
I'm sober and, like, chilling. So, like, sorry.
With Germany, you'll talk
And I'm
your
like,
way
That's
oh.
when
around
you go
Germany.
get the lampshade and
Indeed,
just
the
put it on
talk
your
may
head
go
and
on
go,
so long that you
ta-da!
rarely actually get round to doing anything.
Well, there was that one
Also,
party
you
where I
have
was
the
like just feeling really
emotional
depressed.
feeling.
So
For the
like
common
it was a
interest
Halloween
of form a
party,
strong
and I just put a sheet over myself and just sat on a chair
You
and slept.
Leo may share a common interest
And every now
in
and then I'd
cinema
like
or
move
theatre,
and scare
for
someone,
instance,
and then I would
you'll
just go back to
quietly
sleep.
admire many of each other's qualities.
I don't remember where that
Oddly
was.
enough, you'll also admire Virgo in some ways. Certainly you'll approve of their critical attitude to almost everything around them, though their opinions in general may be too conventional for you.
Whatever you feel about Libran opinions, they'll prove no barrier,
Libra,
for
Libra,
you'll
Libra.
usually be able to persuade them to share your own views. They'll usually fall in with your plans too, so as long as there isn't too much
Rude.
mutual congratulation, all should be well.
You and Scorpio are poles apart in almost every conceivable way, so the most you can expect of a friendship between you is that you both enjoy a good battle, because there's likely to be plenty of those.
Sagittarius is as intellectual as you and has a breadth of vision which will match your individuality. They may racket about a bit too boisterously for you.
You may find you agree with a Capricorn more than
Racket
seems
about.
likely, and the pull between their conventionality and your lack of it should provide some spirited moments.
As long as you have common interests with another Aquarian, and it seems more than likely, this friendship should be entirely
was funny.
delightful and last forever.
Hilarious.
Again, common interests are necessary between you and a Piscean. Interestingly enough, astrology may be one of them.
Because you bought this tape. Nice graphics.
Cool. It's a Tron.
It says car.
Spending spare time with friends may well take up quite a lot of your life. Aquarians tend to like variety, and you may well belong to several clubs or societies of one kind or another. You'll enjoy the variety of going off to an astrological group or a lecture group one evening, then to a committee meeting for some charity the next.
You'll manage
Would I?
to fit in a lot of activity into
I
your
don't. Oh,
non-working
maybe.
hours,
Hmm,
and
I guess you
apart from
might.
that, you'll manage
I don't
to
know about
find
that, like
time
just
for your
going to a
friends
charity
too.
thing for the
You
sake of
enjoy
going. Like I feel
entertainment,
like it would
and
have to
if you
be.
suddenly
Maybe if I
decide
had
to
more
ask
money.
for half a dozen
Yeah.
of them around for a meal, you'll manage to produce a good table, despite the fact that anybody else would swear that your cupboard and your fridge were absolutely bare.
Your romantic side often seems to come to the fore.
What?
when
I'm a
you
good
go
cook
apart,
because I'm an
and you
Aquarian?
usually have a glamorous atmosphere.
They
You
said
may
it.
spend rather more
All
money
right.
on it than you should. In fact, you may
Starting
spend
to
more
believe
freely
this
on your
stuff
spare
now.
time than people of other signs. You often enjoy the
Because of the
different
one
cinema,
bit
as
of
you said, and
information
you'll
that I
want to be able
focused
to
on
see and hear
and just
properly, and that's
ignored the rest of
certainly
it.
Yeah, that's it.
You
If it
attract
makes sense to
plenty
you,
of
you'll
attention
hear it, and if
from
it
things
doesn't,
like
you'll just
that,
skim over it.
because you're not
That's
the
how
one
these
to slink
scams
into
work.
a seat quietly and anonymously. Again, the glamorous
Wonder
side
how
of
much
you
this
will come
tape
to the
cost.
fore.
back
You'll
in the day.
enjoy dressing up
No,
and making
probably
an
a bit.
occasion of an evening in the theatre.
$30.
And what with your dress sense and your
90.
dynamic personality,
Nice
more
art.
than a couple of heads will turn in your direction
I do
when
like
you
it.
make your entrance.
Your hobbies may include at least some which are as expensive as you can afford. Hot air ballooning or learning to fly, mountaineering.
I buy VHS, they're
occasionally like
ridiculously
to do things
cheap,
at the
but then
last
again, I
moment.
buy so
It's
many
not
of them,
a
it's all I
terribly
can
good
afford.
thing for every moment of your diary to be filled in advance.
Still waiting for
Oh,
my
and
next
remember
lot
that you
to
do
arrive.
need to relax
yeah.
sometimes and keep some time for that too.
E-carpet's
That's
going up right
disposed
now.
of your spare time.
Well,
But
good.
what about
The
work?
whole half
Well,
episode.
the areas
No, I put them
which
up
you'll
as,
probably enjoy
oh yeah, that
working
as well.
in
I
include
put them all up as separate
communications
topics.
and jobs in which you can make contact with other people and places. So, airlines, international organisations such as the United Nations,
All
or
right,
the
Pop,
EEC.
you gotta
But
get you.
also science. Indeed, any area in which inventiveness and originality are valuable.
Pushing them
You're
up
the
ladder.
inventors of the zodiac, in fact.
He's
You
gonna
very
wait
good at
another
the
5 minutes
originality and
before I have to run
creativity
up.
scientifically, and you can have moments of sheer brilliance, sometimes emerging in the middle of a breathtaking
least there's fun
display of
graphics.
eccentricity.
You'll work
Yeah, I'm
well
waiting for the graphics to go away
organisations
before I run off.
devoted to caring for others, particularly perhaps
What's that about?
Oxfam or other agencies working to help fight famine and disease in distant countries.
Wants to cook you?
Your need
And
for
she's talking about
privacy
Oxfam?
doesn't
What's
extend
that
into
about?
this area of your life. On the
Some
contrary,
rubbish.
you need contact with people, partly because you seem to need to care for them in some way. You're really first class at being around in times of trouble. And this is one area of your life in which the detachment, which is part of your personality, is really valuable. You don't get emotionally involved, and you're able to see
You
other people's
don't.
predicaments clearly and unsentimentally, which is a wonderful talent.
You must be given your head to some extent, so working within a very rigid and disciplined office may not be a good idea. And an open-plan office might worry you. Other people's chatter would distract and irritate.
So covered in dog fur.
It's not that you can't work with other people. In fact, you can be a very valuable member of a team, but you can't be doing with others crowding in on you.
You have an excellent, sometimes perhaps too enthusiastic sense of drama, and this can be used to good effect in some careers,
Sense of
particularly
drama.
the theatre. Vanessa
Theatre.
Redgrave is an example.
What happened
But
to the
perhaps the
theatre?
fashion trade or any area calling for flair and originality, the kind of thing which will catch the eye of the public.
Finally, remembering your talent for helping others, any area where this can be used will prove rewarding. Among them, working for ecological improvement, for charities and for trades unions. Indeed, in
Yeesh.
any area where your activities can be used to help humanity in general.
Finance and investment. Oh, here's the real scam. Send us the money and we'll invest it for you because your sign's no good at this stuff. We are, though.
In view of what we've said already, you probably won't be expecting us to say that Aquarians spend hours and hours poring over the financial pages of the newspapers, deciding where and when to invest their money.
Most of you probably simply dump any spare cash into a bank or building society account and forget about it. In fact, if you think about it at all, you probably feel that it's wrong to make large amounts of money by doing nothing. And I doubt whether you've bought many shares in public companies.
Some of you tend to have a gambling
this?
They're
instinct,
leftists
however,
then?
and unfortunately, when it strikes,
Do you have to
the
worry
result
about
may be
shares?
that you suddenly
Oh, they're talking about
decide
you,
to put a
probably
great
don't.
deal too
Oh,
much
good.
money on one horse, as it were, and that can, of course, end badly.
A glamorous gamble can attract you, investing in a play or a film, for instance. Well, if you must,
Ah.
it can pay off, but very often it doesn't, and the golden rule is worth following. Never invest more than you can afford to lose.
You're one of those people who really should take advice, not only on investment, but if you decide to go into business. Your original idea may be brilliant. Indeed, there's a very good chance that it will be. But you're good at and enjoy ideas rather than organisation. And you really do need the help of someone with a first-rate business sense who can shape the idea into a form which it has the best chance of financial success.
And having found such a person, don't cling on to your original idea so desperately that in the end they get tired of arguing and leave. The whole point of asking advice
Or do.
is that you should
It's your
be
idea.
prepared to
What
accept
kind
it.
of research
This is
and
one area in which your
devotion did
stubbornness
they
really
put
can
in to
stick you.
come to these
We
conclusions
pointed
about
out that you
financial
like
advice
working
based
for
on star
charity,
signs?
And this is one area in which your business sense, or lack of it, will let you down.
Yeah.
Again,
Good
look
question.
for someone to supervise the business side of
Why
any
isn't that
field,
tree
to
bigger?
look after the books. A Capricorn might be a good idea.
If you do think of investment, you might look towards TV or radio.
That's an
companies,
interesting question to ask.
communications at all events, at companies manufacturing scientific instruments.
The real question is,
at the
why is it
chemical
that
industry, at
size?
airlines,
Oh, yeah.
and at
But it needs to be
scientific
bigger
research.
for my. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, everybody, ready now?
Oh,
From
cool.
here now. 1, 2,
Animation.
shake it, looks like mine now. 1.
I'm pretty sure I have one of those little guys with like
Okay, let's
torture
take it
device.
down.
Hell yeah.
You remember
If you
those
took a
games?
survey of
Yeah.
You had the
people
little dummies
interested
and you
in
just
alternative
set them on
medicine,
fire and stuff.
I
and
do
compared
remember
to bet
those.
that a greater than
They were
average
good
number
fun
of
back in the day.
Aquarians would show up. They seem to have a temperamental aversion to taking prescribed
There's a whole genre in
medicines,
the late
even
90s,
simple
early aughts.
aspirin, let alone anything that's likely to have unpleasant side effects. Very sensibly,
daily
most
walk.
of them will consult a conventional doctor when they're ill, just like the rest of us. But I think
That's
you may
good for your
tend to
health,
try
I think.
alternative cures
Yeah,
before
so they
accepting
say.
any conventional
Especially
prescriptions.
if you put on
Of
the
course, these
tunes in your
attitudes can
ear
be carried too
and
far,
listen
but
to that
on the
song.
whole, it's a pretty
I
good
got a
safeguard
new
against the
way
bad
to
reaction
walk.
to prescribed
Walk,
drugs.
walk.
And certainly there's no reason why you shouldn't.
We played
follow
that
an
zombie
interest
game.
in
I like
acupuncture
that zombie
or
game. You played that
chiropractic
before?
or aromatherapy
You put
or
on
any
your
other
headphones and
unorthodox
they're
means of
like,
curing
zombies
minor
run!
ailments.
And you gotta run
So
away.
you should make sure that any practitioner you
exhausting.
consult
Yeah,
is
yeah,
on
it's an
proper
exercise
training.
app.
Aquarians sometimes find that alternative medicine can be a help not only in alleviating allergies
That's
or coping with
I don't know, how much
sleeplessness,
is that in
but dealing
kilometers?
with more serious medical problems.
One area in which problems
How much
do
is that in
crop up for a number of
Australian?
Yeah,
Aquarians is the
non-freedom
circulation.
units.
And you really should certainly be aware that you're
3
vulnerable in that way. Not only to sluggish circulation,
miles
but to varicose
to
veins and hardening of the arteries.
Kims.
You probably thrive in cold
4.8.
weather, but of course it's in
That's
cold
a
weather that
decent
such
amount.
problems sometimes declare themselves.
I like that.
So make
I wish
sure
I was
you
walking
have
that much every
plenty
day,
of
but
warm
I'm really
clothes
not.
available
I really
during
need to
cold
start.
spell, especially if you're getting on in years, and especially to keep your legs warm.
Walk, walk.
Tradition connects the signs of the zodiac with particular areas of the
Yeah,
body,
American
starting
steps.
with Aries and the head.
Are
and
American
working downwards.
steps further
And as the
apart or
next to
closer
the last
together?
sign, your body
Do you
area
take
is
more
the
steps and
ankles.
look more
And it's
hurried, or do you
astonishing
take
how many
larger steps
Aquarians
and
do
go
damage
further?
to their ankles in one way or another, especially of
No,
course,
American
if you
steps
dance
are when you
or
get on those
exercise
little
regularly.
rider things.
Or
Yeah.
simply as a
then
result
you
of
just
wearing elegant high heels.
Push the thing forward and you sort of like
Aquarian
wobble your
women
legs while you
usually
move.
love
Small
doing.
steps. Like, so
The
you
other
look like
area
you're
you may have
really
to watch is your
important
back.
and going
This is
fast. Sorry.
because there's often
Or
a
just
close
using a bzz.
relationship between a particular sign of the zodiac and the one opposite it. Leo is opposite
Are they called
Aquarius and
scooters?
rules
What are
the
they
back,
called?
Yeah, I
so
think they're called
backache may
scooters.
become a problem. And Leo's also
I didn't
related to
even
the
know
heart,
America
which,
needed
of
to
course,
get
is
their
the
own steps. I
powerhouse
thought
of
the UK ones were
circulation.
fine.
And the ruling planet of Aquarius, Uranus, is also connected with the circulation.
5,
So you
6,
see, it all
7,
ties
8.
up.
I mentioned acupuncture just now. Traditionally, Aquarius is said to have a great deal to do with the flow of energy around the body.
I listened to a
Similar to
podcast
the
all
sign of
about
a
like
man pouring water from a
how
bowl, and
American
this
measurement
symbolises these
is
energies.
weird and why.
Well, of course, the theory of acupuncture is that
And
cures
apparently,
can be
like,
effected by inserting into the body
French
tiny
sort of
needles
invented
that
what
interrupt and
most of the
control
world
flow of
use
energy.
now.
So here again is a strong
American,
indication
like
that
during
your
the
interest in
revolution,
alternative
the leaders were
medicine
like,
will
yeah, we'll
be
get to that
acupuncture.
eventually.
And why not try shiatsu, the
And then
Japanese art
they
of
just
acupressure?
kind of didn't,
It's simple to do, and it does
because they were
often
like,
work.
no, actually that's
Now,
too French. We don't
exercise.
like that.
Obviously, since the
I like that I
circulation and
half
heart
listened
are
to
so
both
strongly
things, and I
connected
thought
with
you were talking
Aquarius,
about how
this
the
is
French
important
invented
to know.
acupuncture.
Keeping
They might
immunity
have.
will help
I think that's
keep
probably-
arthritis at bay.
I
That
heard what you were
sounds-
saying, but I
that
was
sounds
also
more Chinese or
These
like
conditions because of an
maybe
association
Indian or something
between
to me.
your sign and the planet Saturn, which ruled it in ancient times.
well, the platinum
So
Saturn.
I do
The
very
planet
strongly
Saturn.
Maybe they
recommend
invented
that you
it.
should
Yeah.
take regular exercise, and it should be the sort of exercise that really
Yeah, it's a
keeps
pretty
you on
like
toes.
scary country at
Aerobics
the moment.
dances, all kinds of dance movement. But
The planet
what
Saturn
those
says you
vulnerable
should be
ankles
running
do.
rings around things.
Swimming, if you're near a pool, or of course the sea,
Yeah, but
will be an exercise you
just-
may enjoy very
they-
much.
they have the
And
rings to
is,
do it.
apart from
Yeah.
that, probably the best form of all-round exercise. It would be best if you've taken regular exercise since you were a child, but it's never too late to start. Though you should.
I mean,
take
that's just the
medical
case for
advice
everybody.
during
That-
middle
that's-
years
that's-
if you
No,
suddenly
no,
decide
just
to start
Aquarians.
taking
This
classes.
isn't for you. Shut your
Okay.
mouth.
I'll
Recognize
stop
they're
listening.
very useful and therapeutic
No
forms of
comment.
exercise, so why not start taking
You can
regular
talk
brisk
about it when
walks,
it's your
especially
video.
in winter.
If you're still in your teens or 20s, athletics
not.
may attract you, and you should be good
What
at them.
teenagers are buying
Remember,
this?
You're one of the individualists of the
Teenagers
zodiac.
with kooky aunts that
That's
buy
right.
them weird
So you
birthday
will
Yeah,
presents.
have
that
to
or
be
like just
perfectly
like the
good
weird
team
horse
member.
girl.
But exercise of some sort you really should have. and try to make
I
it
guess
regular rather
that she'd
than
be saddled with
spasmodic.
that.
Or the one who
Can't
like
exercise
has
until the
like
limbs are
religious
almost
parents
falling
and
out,
decides they
and
want to
then
be
lie
like a
down
Wiccan or
fully.
something,
But apart
but
from
don't
the
really know what
importance
that
to your
means.
circulation,
Yeah, and they go off the deep
exercise
end
is a
of just
great way of
bullcrap
relaxing.
astrology.
And
Yeah.
Aquarians
Newspaper
do need to
astrology.
disperse tension from time to time. So do think about all this.
One last tip. You're the friendliest of signs, and thus you tend to mix a great deal with other people.
I'm the
Now,
friendliest.
that's fine,
Oh
but
boy.
one of the consequences can be that you tend to catch
Oh,
any
thank
cold
you.
that's going round. A course of vitamin C tablets at the right time seems to be a good specific against that.
Now, diet. I suppose it may be fairly
What
obvious
colour?
from what we've said that
There
you
you got
do
me
your
started.
best and not
Hey.
which is rather sad because most Aquarians we know have more than a tendency to like rich food with heavy sauces. Well, it's up to you, of course.
Sauces.
You may simply be brought around to a proper diet by sad experience. It won't be
Aw,
easy for you, I think, to diet
a
properly.
sad
And
experience.
if and when you need to, you're not very good at keeping to a distinct pattern in any area of your life. And
Don't
in
you
diet,
talk to me
you'll
like
tend to do
that.
very
You don't
well
know
for a couple
me.
of days, and then
Eat
get tempted
it.
by a passing
Eat the
flu.
cake.
Is that a
When you've
hot
got
cake?
down to your target weight, you're
Eat
more
it.
than likely to celebrate with a good blowout.
So it'll be back to the drawing board.
With a good blow what?
Now one
Out.
final suggestion.
Oh.
Your humanitarian instincts point you right
That's when
in
you
the
get a
direction of
blowjob
the
while
blood
you're out.
donor system.
Cool.
If you don't give blood regularly, think about it. It'll actually do you good, and not only because you'll be helping others.
Then explain.
No. It's all nonsense.
Still need to go get my blood test done.
Why? You can just look at your star sign.
But you don't have that tape.
Aquarians, I'm afraid,
I
have a bit
don't.
of a problem with their image.
Maybe.
When they're young,
What's my
they're
sign?
among the leaders of their generation where fashion's concerned. They
don't know.
subscribe to the fashion magazines, and even
feel like
if
we've
they
talked
can't
about this
afford
before
to buy in the shops,
on the show.
they're very good
Funny.
indeed at ingeniously adapting their wardrobe so that it appears to be bang up to date.
So what's
Bang
the
up
problem?
to date.
Well, the problem is that you tend, as you grow older, to become
Yes.
less and less adaptable. So if you discovered at the age of 20, say, a look which seemed particularly you, you're probably still wearing it at 50. Fine if it really suits you, but are you sure it does?
If it doesn't,
Yes.
then there can be real problems.
Your fashion
It may
sense
be
has
too
changed
young for
lots.
you,
I know,
or
right?
on the
Every
other
5 years
hand,
or
it
so.
can make you look older
Yeah,
than it
something like
should.
that.
You should really look critically at your wardrobe and experiment with new styles because you can look marvellously glamorous.
Mine kind of
And
hasn't.
often styles which are rather unusual and can look
Maybe
very
you're an
strange
Aquarian.
indeed on some
Maybe
people
I am an
suit
Aquarian.
you very well indeed.
The
I am
colour of
an
your sign is
Aquarian,
pale
I am an
turquoise, which you
Aquarian,
fit
I
very
am an
properly
Aquarian.
No seahorses are on,
colour,
like,
and rather
fishes
smooth
inside me,
texture
though,
suits
so,
you
I
best.
mean-
You're not on the whole one of those people who can wear rough tweeds. But you tend to like a bit of sparkle and glitter too.
Although, like, I eat a lot of spaghetti, and that's
A lot
kind of
of
like, you
Aquarians,
know,
as we've suggested,
eels or something,
love
right?
fashionable shoes, and you may tend to spend quite a lot on them. And you like accessories of all kinds, handbags, bangles,
I like
all
spaghetti.
kinds of jewellery, junk and otherwise.
This is one area in which you really can create your own individual look. You're very good at choosing original and unusual jewelry.
Stop telling me
and wear
what
it
I'm
with
good
great
at.
confidence.
You don't know
The members
me.
of the sign won't
Apparently they do,
particularly
that's why they
help
made the
you here,
tapes.
It's uranium, but platinum
Okay.
is a good substitute.
You're probably not too fussy where you live, town or country, it doesn't matter much. But you do like a feeling of space, and you'll create this within
I
your
wanna
home
live in
as best you
space.
may, often by
Makes
using
sense.
mirrors.
They just said you like
Certainly by
space.
allowing plenty
Space
of
is
light
cool.
and decorating your house or flat in predominantly
Freezing,
light
in fact.
colours.
Sometimes, indeed, your home may look a little clinical to other people, though to you it's simply plain and uncluttered. Your furnishings will generally be contemporary, even futuristic. Perhaps there'll be quite a lot
Futuristic,
of metal around,
ooh.
maybe an interesting
Time
mobile,
travelers.
modern glass.
Now we're getting
Perhaps
somewhere.
modern
Now this is
pictures
getting
on the wall,
interesting.
too.
Everything I
Maybe
have is
abstract.
thrifted and I've got
I
shit
think
all over
this
the
painting
walls.
will appeal to you. It's one of a series that Degas did of the theatre, which of course you
Does that
love,
appeal to you?
and it'll appeal to the romantic in you because of the ballet scene, I think.
There'll be an air
Yes.
of glamour, certainly, in the bedroom.
Whoa! It's like they know
It's a
you!
razzle-dazzle.
Razzle
The dressing
dazzle.
table may be rather theatrically lit, and the bed covers of satin. But the atmosphere will be pleasant and
Satin.
light rather than heavily seductive.
Getting
The
too
dining
specific
table
now.
will
They
be elegant.
They
missing
really
all
are,
the
aren't they?
marks. Yeah.
Glass and china,
One
and
person who's going to buy
contemporary
this video out of the
stuff.
100 that
But there's
did
a
is
sort
going to
of
be like,
unusual air
whoa!
because it's
How did
so
they
old,
know?
looks as though it might come from the 20s. And it's
Must be
just
real.
the kind of unusual thing that you'll like.
Nope.
You probably spend rather more on all this than you can actually afford.
When we come to
No.
dinner with an Aquarian, we can expect light food, though you may go to town on the sauces. White meat or fish, I think, with a light German wine, crisp and dry. Quite a good chance of a glass of
She's just
champagne.
hungry now, isn't she?
And the background music will be cool and elegant, whether that means modern jazz or a little Bach.
What?
Yeah, I'm not really sure that's you.
Love me some modern jazz.
What about Bach?
No, I'm more with the old Ludwig van myself, thank you. Travel. No.
You like to go to random
Well,
towns
not
and to the
all
op
those
shops
signs
to buy
would regard
VHS
their
tapes.
travel as anything but
Shush,
the
you
obvious
don't know
way of
me.
getting anywhere. Well, Aquarius is, after all, an air sign. But still, it may not always be possible, because you do tend to like to holiday in unusual and out-of-the-way places. So your flight may be followed by a little trek by train or local bus. Aquarians are interested in history, and particularly
You
in
know
the
why
distant
mine would be
past.
like that?
So you may be
Because that would be
fascinated to
cheaper.
explore really
If you have to
ancient
take a train to
archaeological
your
sites,
hotel or
and
whatever,
even
it's
Neolithic
probably going to be a
villages
cheaper
or
one
the
than if it's
ancient
nearer to the
buildings of
airport.
Peru. This doesn't mean that you're at your happiest sleeping in a tent miles from civilization with
Absolutely
insects
not.
burrowing through the seams of your sleeping bag. You may put up with this on some really worthwhile expedition, but in general you enjoy luxury as much as any of us. And the terraces
Luxury.
of the best hotels are carpeted in the season with the bodies of sunbathing Aquarians.
Need me some
Cold glasses
carpet.
of cooling drinks standing in the nearby shade. Not that the sun particularly
Camera two.
attracts you, I think. Most Aquarians love winter holidays, the sun glinting on the snow and a nice ski slope waiting to be explored, with the socializing of the après-ski activity afterwards. In any event, you tend to burn rather too readily in the sun, and don't forget that you need protection from winter as well as summer sun.
I know, right?
As far as your destination's concerned, choosing won't be easy. Most people have a problem choosing between somewhere they know and love and somewhere else which will be new to them. You probably spend more time than many of us seeking out unusual brochures from small specialist travel firms, or simply planning an excursion on your own, because Aquarians are individualists, as we keep saying, and don't specially like package tours. In fact,
Well,
when
we're
you're
not
forced
if
to
we're
take
all the
one
same,
thing
right?
because there's no other way of
True.
getting where you want to go, you'll take
I'm not an
every
individual.
opportunity of breaking away on your own. For you, the
Camera
choice of
two.
destination may be more than you
Camera
think.
2.
Well, I can make a suggestion or two, because astrological tradition has over the centuries associated various countries and cities with various signs of the zodiac. And it's remarkable how often we do enjoy visiting those connected with our sun sign.
Too many.
Your countries
We're up to
are
episode
Russia, Poland,
133.
Israel,
35.
Syria, and
130.
Abyssinia.
Oh,
And Aquarian
didn't
cities
change the
include
title.
Bremen,
136.
Hamburg, and Moscow.
no trigger warnings
Now, you
here.
may not think it's
This is the-
particularly
I mean, I
useful
guess.
to suggest a holiday in Syria or
A whole bunch of
Abyssinia,
those had mini
and in a way
tapes.
that's true, except that Aquarians are particularly humanitarian by instinct, and it's by no means unlikely that you'd be interested in a holiday during which you could help out with some charity scheme.
I don't want a holiday in the
just
sun.
such places. You might like to think about it. Incidentally,
Camera
if
two.
you do go outside Europe, remember that heavy and unusual food can disturb your digestion. So try to eat moderately and
No,
carefully.
that was up for
No
last
point
week's
in wasting half the
video.
holiday in bed with a stomach bug.
Parents. My parents, or how well I'd be at a parent.
Aquarians usually realise that once they have children, their precious independence is bound to suffer. They think twice or even 3 times before making the final decision. The merit of this is that they're more than usually ready when the event occurs.
But
Oh,
however ready
no.
an Aquarian mother is, and however welcome the children are, it's still very necessary indeed for her to get away from them for at least an hour or 2 each day. This is true of every mother stuck at home with an 18-month-old child, but it really is vital for an Aquarian.
You need to be able to continue your individual interests. And apart from anything else, you need to recharge your batteries if your mind isn't to get dull and you're not to get bored. And if either of these happen, remember not only you, but your child and your partner will suffer.
This would be tragic.
Cut my
because if
ties
all
to this
goes
section
well,
of the
an
video.
Aquarian parent can be a model for the rest of us. You make remarkably stimulating fathers and mothers, going to great lengths to see that your children find life as interesting as you do. making sure they have plenty of interests, that their out-of-school hours are as full as their school time.
But the last people to force any child to follow an interest just
Yes,
because
how many
it
tapes have
fascinates
we
you.
watched?
You'll not fall into the
12.
trap of believing that they must be interested in your hobbies and
I didn't even change the
preoccupations.
title. Whoops.
As long as they're interested
At
in
least
sport,
136
that's
tapes,
fine
though.
by you.
I suppose if there is a problem, it
On the
may
show,
lie in the area
plus
of
the
discipline.
dozen
You're
or two that we
unconventional
watched
and like plenty of
10
freedom
years
of
before we
expression.
started the show.
When you were at school, you may have been quite a rebel, and you may tend to think that that's the proper attitude for any child. Well, there's something to be said for that, but what it does depend on is what the
Whoopsies.
child's like. Try to remember that your child may actually need discipline and respond well to quite a tight rein.
Indeed, being given their head too much may give them a feeling of insecurity. So while you may long to send them to the sort of school you'd have liked with a permissive regime, think twice about that. Astrology, by the way, can be more than usually helpful in making such a decision.
Then there's
No,
the
it
problem of the
can't.
generation gap, and it's more than a little ironical that you, who are so free and independent of spirit, should have any difficulty in that area. Sadly, however, it is often the case.
You see, you do tend to cling on to the views and opinions you formed when you were young, despite the fact that they're now well out of date. As
Kapla.
much as anyone else in the zodiac, you really need to keep in touch with what young people today are thinking if you're not to get out of touch with your children. Your naturally understanding and your relationship with your children will in many respects be excellent. It would be a great pity if you create a gap by clinging to out-of-date ideas.
And just a final word, it's not all that
But
likely that your
VHS.
child will be an Aquarian like you. But it's
Exactly.
possible. If he or she is, then you shouldn't have much difficulty in translating what we're saying into their terms. As parents of an Aquarian child, remember that he or she will be
Oh,
quick to
gosh.
form individual views and opinions, and will want to express them freely. And if you aren't prepared to recognize that they have the right to do this, rather than agreeing with your own views, there'll be trouble. They'll need as much as you to be free
Trouble.
to be themselves.
Basically, Aquarians and Arians enjoy
These guys
both
should have just
spirited debate
gone
and
into writing
energetic
science
discussion.
fiction instead.
You should
No,
be able
right.
to
There's too
spark off
much-
each other's
Well, they're probably
ideas,
making more
and
money
your
off of this
energies
then.
And your
Yeah, I
relationship
guess.
should be easy and friendly.
You may find your Taurian child pretty stubborn and rather
Taurian.
slow. You'll have to chivvy him or her along.
Talk about the Taurus.
Their
Talk about the
metabolism
bully
will
boo
probably be
boo.
slower than yours, but they
Yeah, the
can be
problem with
passionate
Taurus
where
is
their
like they're
likes and
clearly easy to
dislikes are
catch
concerned.
because Ash got like,
A
what,
Geminian
30 of
child
them?
will be
Yeah.
quick thinking and will pick up a new
Safari
One
idea
episode.
as quick as you like. Watch for Geminian restlessness and try to be a settling influence, and try to encourage them to take things steadily rather than using their energy in spurts.
Cancerians will be pretty emotional and may tend to cling,
Nice.
which you won't find specially admirable. Try to be patient with the tendency to burst into tears, too, when life becomes difficult. Warmth and affection will comfort them, so try to provide that.
Leo likes to be boss, and you won't care for that, because you don't, after all, want your life ruled by a child, but also because of your independent spirit.
Bad luck.
Why should your child
Trust
follow
Yeah,
you around?
that's what having
You
a
must
child
find
is.
some
Trust me, bad
compromise.
luck.
Your mutual enthusiasm and energy should help you to have a lot of fun.
You could learn a lot from your Virgoan child, but their critical attitude
Virgoan.
and attention to detail
I
may drive
mean,
you
to
up
be
the
honest, you've
wall.
got a lot to learn
They
from
may
whatever
be
child you
worried.
have.
Help them to
Where are
be
they
rational
going?
and listen to them.
No, not always. Not if
Aquarians
they're
and
Gemini.
Librans generally have a mutual sympathy, but you'll have to encourage them to make up their own minds rather than depend on you for a decision.
Make sure Scorpio energy is positively used. Keep the young bodies active and watch out for any tendency to jealousy.
Give
Your
them
young
bananas.
Sagittarian may tend to be either extremely bookish or extremely sporty. If you can encourage a better balance, that'll be an excellent thing.
That used to
Encourage
work.
your young Capricorn's
Now it doesn't
ambitious
because we got
schemes and
computery
their
as well. There's a
individual
third
efforts,
choice.
perhaps
That was a
athletic.
50-50 go.
If they seem emotionally rather cool, that's natural for them. Try to accept it.
Sensitive and perhaps lacking in self-confidence, your Piscean child will need backing and encouragement.
Banana
Warm,
pancakes.
loving support will build on good potential and make it
You just
easier
chiming
when
in
you
and tell
have
us what you're
perhaps to
doing.
rebuke them for deceptive behavior.
Or was there a banana pancakes anything in that?
Maybe that's her sign.
That's what she's making right now. Presents to please. So here we go. Everyone pay attention.
One of
This
the
is the
things
birthday
about
part.
sun sign astrology is that while it's fun, it can also be very useful. And one of the most useful pieces of information it can give you is the sort of presents to give people. Our elves like receiving almost any kind of present, so much so, in fact, it's quite difficult to persuade them to keep it unopened until Christmas or their birthday or whatever anniversary it is. It's good, of course, if you take the trouble
Or
to
their
find out their
star
special
sign day.
interest and cater for that. Where books are concerned, they love a good yarn. Frederick Forsyth probably writes almost entirely for them, and their James Bond books have probably lost their covers by
I
now.
hate James
Koreans
Bond
are a bit
and
choosy. Far better to give
books.
them a small present which has real quality than
Can we
something
not?
large, expensive, and a touch vulgar. A piece of original pottery will usually go down
no,
well. And
no,
Koreans
no.
often love music,
Nobody-
so provided
Oh, wait,
you
here we
find
go.
out their taste in music,
This is
a
for
disc,
Torians, though.
cassette, or a video will be welcome.
Oh,
Oh, yes, a book by a favourite author for Gemini, certainly. He or
I thought
she
we were
always
doing
wants to
just-
keep up with
just
the
me.
latest releases on paper or on disc, so anything in this week's top 10 will get you home and dry.
no,
Don't
no,
forget the possibility of a
Afraid not.
subscription to a favourite magazine. The car may be a preoccupation of your favourite Gemini.
No,
That may be
no.
Get him a car.
something acceptable. A
no,
lot of them enjoy writing,
No.
so
It's for
pen or
Geminis,
a
though.
Special paper, perhaps. And the
no.
Geminian who has everything will be delighted by one of those silly executive toys. Even
I
if
mean,
it's
to be fair, that'd
relegated
be
to a
pretty
top
cool.
shelf
I'd
within
be
a week
happy
or
with
so.
that.
Most Cancerians are collectors on a
Wait,
small
is this
or
a-
large scale.
This is the thing
They're
about
collecting
what
It's
presents
telling
an
you what to buy
Aquarius
everybody else.
should buy
books
for their
cartoon
kids.
gnomes.
No,
So
it's
all you
telling
need
it's
to
telling
do is
you
to
what to
find
buy
out
for
what
other
they
people.
collect.
Why?
And
This is
that's
my
a present
fucking video.
problem.
Exactly. Like you don't need to know what to get yourself.
Love little
Aw,
knickers,
fuck off.
so a gift from
I want to
wherever you
know
spent
what
your
people need to
holiday
get me.
probably
I
goes
do
down
like
well.
that.
Then
topic.
you should
I
watch
like
their
that
video.
Cancerian skin
fair
can
enough.
be a problem. Some skin food, hand cream, or really luxurious soap will be welcome.
A couple of gold bars should keep Leo happy until the next birthday. No?
Gold bars.
Something else.
What?
Then. But remember, quality before quantity. A Leo would much rather have a cup of coffee at the Ritz than a whole dinner in a steak bar. Presents that help Leo with any creative hobby would definitely be a good thing. Paintbrushes, perhaps, or a length of silk. They often enjoy the cinema or theatre, so an evening
Cinema.
out may be the answer. And they love beautiful glass, so an ornament or a set of glasses will usually please them.
The Goans
Yeah.
love natural fabrics.
Since I don't know what I am,
hand-carved from wood or
I should
hand-knitted
watch
from
all the
wool.
tapes
They'll
and
love it.
decide which one
In
I
fact,
feel like
something
I'm
to
most
wear is a
accurate
pretty
to,
good
and
idea,
then look up what I
whether
am
it's a
and
small
see how
knitted
wrong it
scarf
is.
or an enormous woolen one. They're usually meticulous about their
I
personal
only have 2
appearance,
tapes so far, but we
anything
can
for
work
the
on it.
bathroom will go down well. Skin foods,
No
toilet
thanks.
water, towels. But the
It's
perfume
your
should
idea.
be light and unobtrusive. They may like
It wasn't a
gardening, so
serious
seeds
one.
or gardening gloves, perhaps.
Any beauty product will please a Libran, and a favourite
Libra,
perfume
Libra,
will be
Libra.
particularly welcome. Depending on how
think you're
clever
Libran?
you are, a really glamorous piece of lingerie will make you popular. But
Some
so will
glamorous
occasional
lingerie and
bouquet
some
of
makeup.
flowers.
Some
And by
flowers.
the way, the men too usually like to wear a not too obvious perfume. Librans love
The men
anything
too
that
also
looks
like to
something
wear
by their
the
favourite
the
group
lacy
or
undergarments.
maybe an answer.
It's a great
Only
idea,
they
yeah, but
love
it's so
more
much
serious
work
books,
to
something
find all the
really to
tapes.
take them out of themselves.
And then have to
What
watch
about
them.
lingerie
I'm
for
sure I can
makeup?
find one
What
that
about
summarizes them
Scorpio?
all and we
Yes,
can do it.
certainly.
I mean, yeah, that'd be
But they'll
fine.
probably also love a
That would
bottle
work.
to a really good wine.
But
It's
before
a
that,
less
we have to
bottle that
watch the
doesn't enjoy
hypnotizing
glass.
yourself for weight loss.
Fragrances go down
Oh,
well with
God.
either sex, usually rather musky ones with a heavy scent. Some essential
I
oils.
want to lose
perhaps,
weight,
for
but not that
massage.
desperately.
Almost
Come
anything
on,
in
it's just
fact
a
for the
video.
recipe.
I know.
Not gonna break our brains, is
It
it?
might. It might never be the same ever again.
We've actually got 2 hypnotizing videos.
Or you could actually buy them
That's so
as heroes.
unsurprising.
Find
Are they
something
both
you
like
haven't done,
hypnotize
and
yourself to
Yes.
do this? Okay.
skiing, driving on a
I was hoping one
plan,
was going to be like,
going up in
here's
a
how to
balloon.
hypnotize
Find out
people.
what they like
No,
doing
but we
and
watched
take
one of
them in
those
another
from
direction.
Found Footage
He's a
guys.
music lover
Remember they
for
did the
racing.
how to
Oh,
hypnotize
yeah.
the
It's
to
rather
get
like
women.
Leo's
That's
love
You
right.
hypnotize them into
And
having
once
sex
more,
with you.
buy
Yeah,
something
I remember
small
that.
but
That was
good, rather
eerie.
than
So
often
eerie
cheap.
that that exists, but not
Quality
surprising.
clothes
Not surprising
often
at all.
mean a lot, so a fine silk handkerchief or a tie maybe, or a fine leather something for the business.
You seen anything that you want in this little catalog yet?
Are the bookworms of the zodiac, so discover their taste.
not
in
really.
books and
This
add
one's
to
got
their
some
favourite role
sports
play.
books.
Yeah,
Sports
I
great
don't
goals.
read though. I got
Very good
ADHD. I
idea, by
can't
the way.
read.
Yeah, but you
Don't
can just flip to a
expect
page
really
and go, that was a
effusive
cool
thanks.
goal, and then throw it up.
Capricorns can
Yeah,
be
but I
a
just
little
YouTube.
cruel in expressing
Yeah.
their gratitude,
I
even
actually
when they
was
are most
yesterday
angry.
watching like
You, of
season
course, will
reviews.
always be
Oh,
happy with
so,
something slightly
you know,
unusual.
adjust for inflation because at the time, then yeah.
Now, what Aquarian woman?
Maybe, but I feel like at the time I wouldn't be
Women
reading
like
anyway.
fancy
Like,
jewelry
oh,
and
there's never been a time in my life where
enjoy
I've been able to
anything
read more than like
appeals to
one
their
book in the
romantic
space of a few
bottle
months.
Magazines aren't
That
books, they're
street
just
may
looking
be
at
late
pictures.
Still
at the time,
counts.
but it's always there somewhere.
All right, I guess I grew up different. I bought a lot of porno mags.
ADHD, man, I can't focus. And undiagnosed until last year.
Autism, I put all my porno mags in
Who will be really so
date
pleased
order
to think you've remembered them.
when they were
But
released
won't mind
in their
if you give
stats.
That's
them
pretty
the
rad.
least you can. But you
To be
won't
fair,
want
that
to
makes
do
sense.
that. So try a
Well, in
really
Australia,
strong potted
I think I've
plant
said this
or
on
a
the show
box of
before, there
fine
was
sweets
no,
or candies.
there's a couple of different skin
Anything
rags
silk
that
or
are
velvet
deliberately
go
said
down
as
well. And any Piscean will love a
unclassified,
pretty
so
It's,
that-
it's like the difference between lewd and nude, I guess. Where
Yeah.
it's like, the more explicit, the more likely it is to be.
yeah, it wasn't like terrible porns, it was local Australian girls getting their kid off. And that was it said as unwhatevered, so kids were allowed to buy it and see naked girls, because why shouldn't they? The sun sets.
The last time.
And there's where we come to the end of this introduction to what astrology
Oh, this is the
has to say about
introduction.
your
You're going to
sun
see
sign.
part 2.
Usually when you talk to people about their sign, you find they're rather surprised at just how accurate astrology is in earmarking some of their virtues and faults and tastes and habits.
What I want to
felt
do is
that way,
mark
it
out all
ought
the
to
things
leave
I
you with
found
just one
interestingly
thought.
accurate, and
The
then have a
sun
look
can
at
tell you
everything that was
something
left
about
and see
yourself,
which is in the
but it's
heavier
nothing
pile.
to what the whole birth chart has to say.
Well, I think you'll
And
find
we
with the
hope
vague
that if you
stuff,
found this video
it
interesting,
probably
you'll
is
go on
pretty
to find
accurate.
out
I think
more
3
about
piles
And
is
then
good then.
the
Just
more
how
specific
useful
it
it can be.
gets, the more like,
Good to know life today
yeah.
is complicated enough, and we can all do with all the help we can get to get us through it as smoothly as possible.
They're just a bunch of
Not to
carnies.
mention helping us to
Yeah,
relax
that's
and
all
enjoy
it is. It is a
Anyway,
carny thing,
thanks
for
your
sure.
company,
And goodbye.
Thanks for your company, guys.
That's probably where a lot of the stuff.
They were pretty
anyway.
pleasant as hosts. Like, I'm sure they make a lot of money off this, but they didn't come off as scammers, and they didn't really try and sell us anything.
No, we already bought their video, which
Yeah,
is
but
something that we found.
That's
weird.
interesting, right?
Because a lot of the videos we get are still trying to sell us the video that we already bought.
Yeah, that's how
or
much you
the
go
next
to the
book.
you go to the event and you watch the people talk, and then you buy the tape, and with that tape you can buy more tapes.
Yeah, but even some of them, it's like there is no others, and then there never was going to
No,
be.
that's
but they
the
were
thing
still
too.
advertising the tape that you've already bought on it,
Yeah.
and that's been weird. But yeah, they told the information like they were meant to. They were good presenters. Talking a whole lot of nonsense.
Whole lot.
Psychedelic cubic art. There we go. We can look up the artists.
That's pretty cool.
They probably are Australian. Well,
No, British.
they are. Okay, they're British. This is back when
They-
they were still living in Britain's.
Yeah, they mentioned like if you were planning to leave Europe.
Okay, cool.
So-
This is British. So, but they did leave Europe. They went and they're living in Sydney right now.
Good for them. Sydney sucks.
Bunch of people who believe in star signs, huh? Scorpio. This the copyright has its own star sign.
Now we know.
Yeah.
We want to learn how to beat
Oh, they
copyright
came
law.
from Kent. That's where my grandmother was from. Or at least at some point in time. And they left these send us a letter out for a while. They want all the letters they can get.
Doo-doo.
Jump
That's
scared.
really intense, that one, isn't it?
Jump scared by a bumper, yeah.
But it reminds me of my childhood.
We'll have to wait for one more minute because it said it went for 60 minutes and we're up to
Does it
59.
say 60 or approximately 60?
Approximately.
Okay, so just like a minute off.
It's alright. Better than some of the ones we've had recently.
It's true.
So Scorpio Vision has moved to 28 Cross Street, Brooksvale, New South Wales. Well, they're going through Castle Communication anyway. Ah! We got it! We got it! Yay! Deafening ending! Oh gosh!
It's gonna stop that there.
Okay. I'll make sure to rip it though. Ah!
Rip headphone users, including us.
Well, that was terrible.
Yeah, but it was pleasantly terrible. It didn't feel as dangerous as it could have been. It really did just feel like a newspaper read out loud. I don't disagree. I think it probably was the best part. No, actually, no, the bumper was the best part.
Yeah, the Castle Vision bumper has always been.
That's the
Yeah.
best part. But then the color bars.
All right, we're gonna do a second video today because it doesn't go for too long, and it's fun. So this is Dino's birthday, and it says in the SIA or the CIA or something. I tell you what, we got two little games to play while we watch this. First, let's just try and figure out what the CIA or SIA actually means. Is it an acronym for something? But secondly, listen out for the person who's recording the video going on and on about how she really doesn't like the idea of dog's birthday, but she does it in a polite way, in a nice way, and she's just trying to make fun and
trying
light.
to say that it's silly.
Trying to say it's silly, but she goes on about it too much, and she talks about how old the dog is and how he's lost his pet, and it's just kind of awful. But we do have a title card, which is cool.
Oh, that's cute.
From 1984, by the way, which is the year I was born.
Well, there you go.
So it all cues up nicely.
Come on, Ruby. Come on, Dino. Don't get the wrong one,
Ruby, Ruby, Ruby.
So she looks kinda 80s, but the other kid definitely looked 70s. Although early 80s was pretty brown, so I guess. Happy birthday.
Yeah, you got a hat on.
There's some beautiful doggies.
Maybe they're Jewish. He's got a yarmulke.
Yeah, I don't know. What does chat think? That kid in the front on the left. 70s fashion or 80s? Where are we landing on that?
Well, there are a bunch of kids who are having a birthday for a dog, so you can assume they're a little bit nerdy. And a little bit nerdy people
Well,
are
I get the
usually
feeling it
like
was the parents' idea anyway.
five years late in the fashion.
Although
right?
there's that little kid. Maybe that little kid won't. They're so balky.
It's their party. They can balk if they want
I
to.
love it.
Expensive camera that they must have bought, though. Look
I
at
know.
the
Look at
quality.
the quality of this. This is crazy good. No, you don't. Oh,
Slap those puppy
slap
butts.
the butt. Especially 80s home video, like, Jesus. See, she looks very 80s.
She's up with the times. She's a hip mum. Dog mum. They're always hip, right?
I guess so, yeah. That's probably a pretty accurate way to put it. Do you two not get along? Turn the volume up. I don't know. It's gonna be one of those ones where it's buried. It'll be super loud when they're up close.
Oh yeah, it's an old camera. The microphone's not good for picking up further away sound, but then it's like bottoms out if somebody holding the camera talks.
But now there's a plane going overhead, and it's louder than anything ever.
Ah. Maybe if you're lucky you get that cut down next week, but I found a wedding video that's all that happens during the whole thing and they keep looking up. Lovely. It needs to be cut down.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh, no, she'll be 8 this year. Right in August. July.
Puppy's gonna be 8.
Rob was into going mad in Burke's this morning because I couldn't decide what ribbon to buy. Oh, what do you want for us?
Good puppy. Look at that gut. You're a big fat puppy.
Come on, it's the birthday. Don't be rude.
I say it lovingly.
Mum, can I take off her hat? I think it's annoying her somehow.
Somehow.
That accent. Really, really telling as to like how much the Aussie accent, especially on sort of the East Coast, has sort of changed.
Yeah.
In just like pretty much over that next decade, like
Why? So what's missing or adding right there that you're hearing?
slight bit of I don't know, like
Because this is a country video. This is a
yeah, it sounds like the Aussie accent you would see on like TV dramas.
yeah. So when I say country, I'm pointing more towards coastal country as well. So they're probably a little bit well off as well. So this is more in the direction of Clifton Springs, Torquay sort of country,
Yeah.
beach country.
Still, I just don't hear that accent. Like, I don't think I've ever met anybody, especially not in my adult life, with that accent.
That Aussie accent.
Yeah, that particular one.
Yeah.
And even, like, when you do watch TV shows and movies now, the accents are different.
Oh yeah, I love old Australian
So
horror
yeah.
movies for that accent.
I think it's something that just was phased out as sort of culture changed very, very quickly over the 80s and 90s. And
It's when we became connected with the rest of the world. Too
Pretty
many American TV shows and movies,
yeah, that's true.
and then the internet came after that.
More belly scratches.
Ruff, ruff.
Give me the belly scratches. Love me.
Where's the spark that used to be? Deanie.
Oh, shut up.
He's a bit sad. He's sad because he's 10.
Oh, 10, sorry.
Oh,
That's the voice I want you to listen out for, her voice.
on.
He's sad because she's 10.
Okay, that.
He's lost his spark. I just wanted to tell her to shut the hell up by the end of the video.
Coming.
Who else is coming?
Nobody else will be silly enough to come to a dog party though.
Fuck off.
You have to be careful.
You're at
Yeah,
it.
no fun allowed.
You're at the party.
I thought your mum might come.
Now puppy's shedding too. Look, you can see it all flying away.
We can get some tea on and eat. Have some food.
Don't talk about leaving. We're meant to be having a party.
Take the dogs with you. I'd love to open up a doggy restaurant. Come in, bring your doggy.
Get it cooked up for free.
Because then you could have like one chef for the human food and then one chef for the doggy food.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be fantastic. Everybody would go home satisfied.
Lucas' teeth need cleaning. You don't know, just like to do.
I hear a train.
It's the second train that I've heard on this day. Oh, look, they've got that kind of a pool.
You gonna hop in, Will? No. Oh, yeah. It's a tiny pool. Oh, whoa. Cute. How do you hold it? Oh, what do you think of that? Hey?
What's this got to do with puppy dog's birthdays?
It's just one of the activities that they're getting up to.
Are we gonna get the puppy dog in the bath too?
Thought you were gonna hate it, kid, and now you're realizing, wait, this isn't too bad.
It's a big cauldron. We're gonna throw in some onions and some carrots and some celery.
They're just boiling them.
Yeah, slowly, so they don't notice.
I forgot to do it when they were babies.
Check out his barbecue area though. It looks like a kitchen outside.
I'm too tired for this shit.
It's Dina's birthday. Oh, what? I didn't see that one before. I need to steal that for the thumbnail.
What's it like? You tell
Oh,
Daddy
it's like
what
a
it's
spawn
like.
thing.
No, we're setting it to simmer.
You hold my hand. You show Dad how clever you are at keeping afloat.
Come on, kids. Don't you want to play with some onions and some carrots?
Show Dad. Look at Daddy. Show Dad how good you are. Now one hand. Oh, you're such
Got a rolling boil going and they haven't noticed.
None of the boys showed up. So I'm doing the barbie on my own. No bloke should ever have to grill on his own.
London, Paris.
Such is my life.
He's got a rotisserie and everything. Should have put the sausages on the rotisserie as well.
Safe to assume they built this house like 10 years before or something?
No, I don't think it was. I was actually thinking the same thing. I think it's just the bread laid out for when the sausages are ready. Unless it's fairy bread for when the sausages are ready. Fairy bread, sausage and a
mean,
bread.
Don't
Bread.
know it till you try it, right?
They do have an old washing machine drum fire though. I like that. Yeah.
The
Classic.
classic.
Yeah.
The true classic fire pit.
This party's going off.
Now they just make them like that.
It got a little bit cooked.
It's starting to get late, you can tell, because the crickets are coming out.
Leave the little puppy alone.
A little, but probably feisty compared to the other two.
Don't get them sausages.
I'm hungry too. Be careful, the skeeters are coming out soon.
I remember I had one or two of those things that ridiculously, because they had to put so much power into the lights to get any light coming through like the gel they put on the outside to make it a colored light. And they would just get
Yeah.
so hot.
Oh yeah.
Look at that drool coming out. The answer is yes, there will be cake. Can't have a birthday episode without cake. My kind of party. Woo!
If we'd have put a porta flat on down there for your, oh that, yeah that's the lot.
What happened when he was barbecuing that meant that he had to get all his head off? There you go, there's your cake. And yeah, it's got sausages on it. Well, salamis, I think.
Delicious food. The topless games begin. Alright.
Wait, why? Pop.
Why are you coming over to me again, huh? I just got all your hair.
Oh, here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dino. Happy birthday
That's my name.
to you.
Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Yeah, that boy. Oh, he's a good boy. Yeah, I don't think Dino can blow them.
Oh, quite.
Dino's like, oh, I wanted to blow out the candle. I'm gonna lay here all sad.
Here, Dino. Be careful, he's a bit. Hey, Dino. I got melted wax. Can Luby have one? Can Luby have one, Mum? Can Luby have one?
Yeah, Luby can have one. Of course she can have one. Take it outside, Luby.
Come on.
Careful, Luby. Come on, Luby.
There you go. That's your birthday cake.
What a football.
Yummy.
I want that cake. I want a whole
Alright. Well, I guess that's the end of the birthday party. Everybody out.
Now go home, losers. We are home.
The end. There you go.
That was a unique tape.
We got a puppy's birthday. I do have another tape from the same family.
Oh, really?
It's a garage sale. And it goes for like 8 minutes. Like, seriously, they filmed some random shit.
I appreciate that. Ugh.
Hi, Pop.
Hi, Chester. You need a bath, Pop, and you stink. Yes, happy birthday, Bat, as well.
Oh, yeah, it's my birthday soon. Doop, doop, doop. 41? Jesus. That's old. I don't like the sound of that.
Then don't say it.
Okay, I won't.
I'm just lucky that Jackson's birthday's like 2 days after mine, so I can just pretend my birthday doesn't really exist.
I do like an excuse to go mini golfing every now and then. And as I said,
Yes.
this year's gonna do it on lives instead. And fairy parks and things like that.
Fairy Park.
Level 41. It's terrible. Does that mean I can spend this year grinding and get up to level 50 real quick?
Maybe. Just smoke a lot and drink a lot.
Oh. Maybe I should be higher than level 41 then.
I don't know, you had those few years where you didn't smoke.
Oh.
Well, more than a few, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
You quit
But
for-
I was drinking a lot.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright.
Cool.
Well,
Outro stuff. What are we
Yes.
thinking about?
I got distracted because there's a puppy. He's
Yeah.
trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Okay, so I guess channel stuff. At the moment, that video that you got that we watched the other week is going up, so all the carpet stuff's going up.
Mm-hmm.
And just the other day, I think, was it yesterday? Day before? I don't know. I can't remember days anymore. I watched The Abyss on VHS.
The Abyss, holy shit.
It was from the year 2000,
I remember that movie.
and it's a ridiculously long movie.
It's so long.
And the tape cut out just before the real ending. It was just after he got abducted in that end of it. But hey, I got a bunch of commercials from
Oh,
that
that's good at least.
that I'm gonna cut up and put up in the next month. That's what's gonna go up on the channel for the next few weeks. Year 2000 Channel 7 commercials, and actually, interestingly, were commercials for when they had this little thing that you get out of TV Week called a dot, and you're meant to adopt the dot, and you stick it to your television,
Oh, I
and there's a
remember
little
that
dot,
shit.
and it turned on some of the things, and you had to send it away, and you might get a prize for watching the
I
movie they
remember,
wanted.
I remember, like,
Yeah, What bullshit is that? Fantastic.
That is pretty fantastic.
Yeah. In the mood for anything specific episode-wise coming up?
Maybe see if the tapes that I ordered arrive, because
Yep.
one of those might be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
If not, I'll
We'll
find
figure
something
something
cool.
out. Yeah. Well, everybody, it's been fun.
Oh, you found some of those. It's nice. Yeah, well, this was a whole night of like 10 different ones, so it was good getting them all, cut them all out, put them all out on one day. Yes. But anyway,
All right, friends.
tune in next time to avoid late fees.
Goodbye.